Now, let us start our lesson today. Pasensya na ulit na medyo late tayo ngayon. So, now, before we're going to our lesson proper, we will have first a prayer. Okay, anyone who can lead the prayer?
Mika Ostan daw po, ma'am.
Stan. Okay, Stan.
Classmates, are you ready to pray?
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are.
Let's pray. Lord, thank you po sa araw na ito, sa pagbibigay niyo po sa amin ng opportunity na mag-meet up para po mag-learn po ng mga bagong things and tulungan niyo po kaming maintindihan po yung every lesson and may you give us a stable internet connection and bigyan niyo po kami ng strength and health ng every student and every teacher. Ayun po, Lord, thank you po ulit for this wonderful day and in Jesus' name we pray, Amen.
Amen. Okay. Thank you po, Stan. So, before I'm going to share my screen, so let us start first with a rules and regulation na pag halimbawa ako yung nagsasalita, ipaki-turn off na lang ng inyong mga mic para maiwasan natin yung unnecessary noise na pwedeng mag-distract sa ating undergoing na lesson. Okay ba yon?
Yes po, ma'am.
Okay, so ano pa yung mga rules natin? Na if you have any question, you have to raise your hand or say permission to speak. Okay ha? Then, whoever na sino po yung gustong mag-answer, allow po lahat yan, tanggap po lahat yan, wala po yung mali, wala din po yung discrimination na mangyayari dito. So let us respect kung ano po yung mga point of views ng inyong mga classmate during our discussion if ever meron tayong question and answer. Okay, so huwag pong mahiya, huwag pong matakot na mag-try kung ano po yung mga point of views or opinion ninyo if ever may mag-a-ask sa inyo ng question. Alright? So, later in your group activity, I will allow you to share your screen. Tama? Then you're going to present your work.
Yes po, ma'am.
Okay. Prepare na ba sa inyong mga group activity?
Yes,
Opo, ma'am.
Opo, ma'am. Very good. Okay, now let us proceed to a sort of review lang naman what had we discussed or we tackled last meeting. Okay, that was dalawang linggo natin ginawa yon kasi hindi natin natapos. Tama po ba?
Opo, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes po.
madaling sabi, yung unang topic na yon, yung unang part 1, that is week 5. So, hindi natin natapos. Kaya nag-week 6, yung week 6 na yon, yun na po yung isotope. So, ngayon, nasa week 7 na tayo. Okay, now, what have you learned? Or what are your takeaways during our class discussion in the topic of week 5 and 6?
Carillo po, permission to speak po.
Yes, Carillo.
I learned that the number of the protons determines that the identifier of elements is the same of the number of atomic number po, ma'am.
Yes, okay, very good. When getting the number of protons, you are going to look at what is the number of the atomic number. Then automatically, if if ang number ng atomic number ng halimbawa oxygen ay 8, ibig sabihin yung number of proton and number of electron ay
Are the same po.
are the same, 8 then. Okay, very good. And that is isotopes. Now, what is an isotopes?
Permission to speak po, ma'am.
Siya.
Copy ko po. Isotopes po, ma'am, are atoms of the same element that contain an identical number of protons but a different number of neutrons.
Okay, very good. Same sila ng number of electrons and protons, pero nagkakaiba sila sa number of neutrons. So, laging tandaan yan. Okay, very good, Shams. And how are you going to get the number of neutrons? Yung sa example.
Permission to speak po, Carillo po.
Yes, Carillo.
If we will get the number of the neutron, we need to tawag dito.
Minus.
We need to minus the number of the proton and the number of atomic weight po, ma'am.
Okay, very good. You're going to subtraction ang gagamitin yung operation from what is the number of the atomic weight or hindi atomic weight, atomic mass, depende sa inyo. Ibabawas nyo yun sa number of electrons or sa number of protons. So, madaming way siya. Okay? Very good, Carillo. Another takeaways from our previous lesson. Another students naman. Last one. How about Padasay?
Na yung shell po is, yung una pong shell is, nagko-contain po siya ng dalawang protons lang po. And yung pangalawang shell naman po is 8.
The third shell can hold how many electrons?
$16, ma'am.
Nawala si Padasay.
16 po, ma'am.
Then, the fourth shell,
32.
100.
okay, we have 32. Ayan, 32 ha. Yung orbit niya, yung electron na kaya niyang i-carry. Sa first shell, 2 electrons. Sa second, 8. Sa third naman ay 18 or 16?
16, ma'am.
Okay, and the fourth shell can carry a maximum of number of electrons na 32.
32.
Okay, so very good kayo lahat dyan kasi meron pa kayong naalala. Now, let's move on to our next topic. So, we are now in a week 7. So, allow me to share my screen kasi meron na ako ditong konting motivation lang as a, tawag nito, parang pre-test. Ayun. Ayan. So, anong nakikita nyo sa screen ninyo?
Will po, ma'am.
Ayan. So,
Roleta, ma'am.
ruleta, kung sino yung mananalo. So, ang laman ng ruleta ay mga question. Ayan, mga question ha. So, meron tayong 8 question. 8 po yan lahat. Now, ang una kong tatanungin ay lalaki muna. Pag masagutan ng lalaki, ibig sabihin sa kanila yung 1 point. Then, after nun, girls naman. Girl, boy, girl, boy, girl, boy, girl, boy. Hanggang sa matapos yung tanong. Okay ba?
Okay po, ma'am.
Okay, so, nag-gets ang instruction?
Opo.
Okay.
Yes po, ma'am.
Let us start now. So ako na lang din mag-spin. Okay, for the boys. Okay, for the boys, what is metal or metals or carillo?
Metal is a chemical elements that have a that has a solid matter, and it can have a chemical reaction like, for example, rust po, ma'am.
Okay, so those are metals. So ang sinabi mo ay some of the characteristic of metal. So correct. So 1 point for the boys. Okay, eliminate na natin to ha. Okay, for the girls. Babae naman tayo. Prepare girls ha. Okay, ayun. Oh, girls. Saan ba ito pa? How many elements are there in modern periodic table of elements? Riza.
118 elements po.
Very good. We have 118 elements. So it's a tie, correct? So what 1 point for the boys and 1 point for the girls. Feeling ko ano to? Tie. Okay. Question for the boys. All right. How did Dmitry Mendeleev or Mendeleev arrange the elements in the periodic table? Boys, Shams.
Mendeleev arranged the elements in order of increasing relative atomic mass.
Okay, very good. So Dmitry Mendeleev arranged his discovery of this periodic table according to increasing number of atomic number. Ayun. Very good. So 2 points for the boys. So question for the girls. Mukhang madali yan. Nag-raise na ng hand si Raisa. Wala pa. Okay, Quazon. For the girls, who is the father of periodic table of elements? Quazon.
Antoine Lavoisier po, ma'am.
Ha? Sure na ba? Yan siya talaga ang tinaguriang a father of the periodic table of elements. Sa kanya nagsimula lahat.
Dmitry Mendeleev po, ma'am.
Okay, we have Dmitry Mendeleev. So we have a tie score. So eliminate natin. So 2 points for the boys and 2 points for the girls. Okay, balik tayo sa boys. Madali yan. Okay, your first answer will be the final answer na ha. Okay, boys. Di ko nakita yung nag-raise ng hand.
Permission to speak.
Umaga po.
Ma'am.
Umaga.
Sabi ko po.
02.
Ha? Po? What is
Letter O daw, ma'am.
letter O? Okay, very good. We have symbol for oxygen ay O. Okay. Eliminate natin to. So 3 points for the boys and 2 points for the girls. Okay, so meron na lang tayong tatlong tanong. Okay, for the girls. Your first answer will be your final answer. Okay, girls. What will be the answer? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, babae, 6, 7. Sino yung nag-raise ng hand? Parang si Karin.
Dumlaw daw, ma'am.
Dumlaw. Okay, dumlaw.
Periodic table po.
Very good. Periodic table of elements ang tamang answer. Okay, it's a tie. Malapit pa orasan. Okay, next for the boys. Carillo. Mabilis talaga to si Carillo.
The example of non-metals po, ma'am, is oxygen, hydrogen, and dito, helium. Yan, ma'am.
Okay, kahit yung hydrogen na lang, okay na yung hydrogen.
Ay, at least 2 pala.
Kasi Nobel, no. Okay, eliminate natin. Okay, for the girls. Ay, sorry. Girl, isa na lang natira. Give at least one example of noble gases.
Padasay daw po.
Padasay.
Neon po and argon.
Isa lang. Okay, we have
Neon po.
Neon. Okay, so since madali lang naman yung ating parang pre-test na tinatawag, now, so ang score ninyo ay
Tie.
it's a tie. Okay, tie lang kay lahat. Meron yata nagpapa-admit. Okay, 4 points for the boys and 4 points for the girls. Okay, palakpakan niyo naman yung mga sarili ninyo. Virtual.
Yay!
Yay.
Charis. Okay, now, again, permission to share my screen. Ayan ko lang siya. Permission to share my screen. Okay, so nakikita yung screen ko.
Yes po, ma'am.
Yes po, ma'am.
Yes po, ma'am.
Okay, so we have the periodic table of elements. So, hindi ko na kayo tatanungin kung ano yung topic natin kasi kita naman sa inyong activity na advance ko na pinagawa tsaka sa ating ginawang ruleta. Okay, so talking about the development of the periodic table. So when we say development, what anong papasok sa isipan ninyo? What comes first to your mind when you hear the word development? Develop from the term
Permission to speak po, Carillo, ma'am.
English
Hindi ko
past
po.
vocabulary ninyo, anong ibig sabihin ng development? May nag-raise ng hand. We have Shams.
Parang, ano po ma'am, process po or result.
Okay, let us say that is a process or result. Okay, very good. So tama nga naman, once na may dinevelop ka, ibig sabihin may result. Okay, can you give an example of anything na napapasok yung term na development? Can you cite any scenario? Carillo.
Trisha may increase her intelligence about his knowledge of science.
So, dinidevelop ni Trisha May ang kanyang knowledge about science.
Science po.
Right after that, it come up to a result. So, magpapasok yan kung ano yung magiging result ng kanyang pag-enhance o pag-develop niya in terms of her knowledge sa science. Okay? So, let's go back to our topic. Bakit ayaw siya? Okay, so we have slideshow ko lang siya. Development of the periodic table of elements. Okay. The discovery of the periodic system for classifying the elements represent the culmination of a number of scientific developments. So, ibig sabihin, dumaan talaga to sa madaming developments rather than a sudden brainstorm on the part of one individual. Meaning to say, dumaan ito sa madaming steps, dumaan ito sa madaming proseso na sinabi ni Shams. Hindi yung biglaan lang na agad-agad ngayon naisip at nabuo agad yung periodic table of elements. Dumaan pa to ng madaming taon bago nabuo ang periodic table na nakikita natin ngayon. So sabi dito, a number of scientific developments rather than a sudden. Pag sinabing sudden, ano yan sa English ninyo? Person.
Biglaan.
O biglaan. So, hindi biglaan ang pag-develop sa periodic table. Okay? Nakukuha?
Yes po, ma'am.
Yes po ma'am.
The formal birth of the modern periodic table. So, that was February 17, 1869. Buhay na ba kayo ng time na to?
Di pa po, ma'am.
Di pa po ma'am.
Okay, so the first scientist or chemist na nagsimula sa pag-develop ng periodic table of elements was a Russian professor. So we talk about the history, hindi lamang about agad kung ano yung meron sa periodic table, but first we're going to know the history of the periodic table of elements, how it was started. O parang sa AP nyo lang. So pag-uusapan niyo yung history. Kasaysayan. So pag sinabing kasaysayan, anong tinuro ng AP sa inyo?
About everything po sa history, ma'am.
About sa history po, ma'am. Yes, Gascon, sa history. So anong tinuro? Pag sinabing history, kayo ay parang nagbabalik?
Babalik araw.
Nagbabalik tanaw kayo kung ano po yung nakaraan. So parang ganun din tayo ngayon. So we're going to talk about how the periodic table of elements started. Paano talaga siya nagsimula? Then it was started by a Russian professor of chemistry. So si Russia, sikat ang Russia. So it was Dmitry Ivanovich, hindi ko alam kung paano siya tamang pronounce kasi Russian ito, Mendeleev, completed the first of his numerous periodic charts. So pag sinabing numerous, ibig sabihin,
Madami po.
Number or
hindi lamang iisang element ang kanyang na-arrange, kundi more than one. So alamin natin how many elements he placed on the periodic table of elements. Okay. Ito po yung hitsura ni Dmitry Ivanovich Mendeleev. Kamukha ba siya ni Putin?
Hindi po.
Hindi po, ma'am.
Baka mabait to. Okay, now let's proceed. Okay, so how many elements known during the time of Mendeleev?
63 po, ma'am.
Okay, very good. We have 63. And how he arranged the elements in the periodic table?
118.
According to increasing atomic weight.
Very good. Padasay in terms or according to increasing atomic weight. Okay. Then ito yung gawa niya. Ayan, ito yung hitsura ni Mendeleev. Tapos ito yung unang gawa niya talaga. So sa kanya nagsimula. So Mendeleev's table. So tingnan nyo naman, i-compare nyo sa modern ngayon. 'Di ba si hydrogen nandito yan, tapos si helium nandito yan. 'Di ba?
Apo, ma'am.
Ayan. Si neon dito din yan na side sa right side. So, bakit siya nag-iwan ng space? Ito, space yan eh.
Para po sa
Permission to
undiscovered
skip po.
elements.
Because of the number po siguro ng elements.
Dahil sa number ng elements. Ayan. What else? 63, 65. Ito yung atomic number niya. Okay. You have a point, Carillo. Thank you. Very good. So, ito yun na 63. Ayan. So, sa kanya, binase niya ito sa atomic weight. Sino yung nag-raise ng hand? Di ko nakita. Dumlaw?
Para po sa undiscovered elements po yung mga space.
Yes, a very good, Dumlaw. Para ito sa mga undiscovered elements pa na baka dito niya mailagay or baka naman may susunod pa na physicist, chemist, or any scientist na makadiscover ng mga elements, dito nila ipi-place yon, dito nila ilalagay. Yun po yung dahilan kung bakit niya ito nag-leave siya ng space. Okay? So now, para talaga tayo naging 80 ngayon. So tapos na tayo sa development. It was started by Dmitry Mendeleev, a Russian professor na malayo kay Putin. Okay, now we have the evolution of periodic system. Ano pag sinabing evolution?
Pagbabago.
Pagbabago, ma'am.
Okay, very good. Pagbabago. Ayan, may evolution. Di ba sa AP, may evolution ng man. Okay, so dito may evolution din ang periodic table. Now, the periodic table of the elements is one of the most powerful icons in science. So, ito yung pinaka-powerful na discovery sa science na na-contribute ng mga scientists. A single document can consolidate much of our knowledge of chemistry. So, ang periodic table sa chemistry talaga to. So, making new elements, in the present time now, we have 118, tama. So, it was credited by, Peter Armbruster and Fritz Peter Hesberger. Ayan, they are a German physicist and sa kanila nagsimula yung making new elements. So, but they consider the study or the development of Mendeleev. So, prior to the development of Mendeleev, parang in-enhance na lang nila. So, now, meron na ngayong periodic table of elements. Now, bago pa nagsimula ang history sa distribution sa contribution nila Peter Armbruster and Fritz Peter Hesberger kasi sila yung kumbaga recent. Meron pang mga physicists or scientists involved in the evolution of periodic system. So it was Louis Bernard Goiton de Morvay, ayan, Anton Lavoisier. Correct me if hindi tama yung pronunciation ko kasi hindi nga natin to sila kaapelyedo, mahirap panggitin. So, ito po yung itsura ni Anton Lavoisier. They are some of the people behind or person behind the evolution of periodic system. We have Anton Fourcroy and Claude Louis Berthollet. So, ayan yung mga itsura nila. Anton Lavoisier, together with the working together with Louis Bernard Morvay and Anton Fourcroy and Claude Louis Berthollet, they devised a list of the 33 elements known at that time. So, dinevise nila yung 33 elements na mas nakilala pa before prior to the study of Mendeleev. So, sa madaling sabi, si Mendeleev talaga ang study ni Mendeleev yung pinagbasihan nila. So, always remember na itong mga point na to, making new elements, it was credited or care-of by Peter Armbruster and Fritz Hesberger. And itong apat na mga scientist nito, sila ay nagsama-sama, siguro mag-friends tong mga to, and they devised a list of 33 elements during their time prior to the study of Mendeleev. Can you follow?
Yes po, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes po, ma'am.
Wala, bakit may paganto to? Bakit may isda? Okay, ulit. Wait lang, parang may naligaw yata na. Okay. Another contribution in the evolution of periodic system was Johann Dobereiner. Ayon. And sabi niya, in his time, he arranged by their similarities into group of 3, which he called as triad. So, di ba sa math, sa math, yung pag 1, monomial? Ganun ba yon?
Opo, ma'am.
Pag 2, binomial. Ito, triad.
Pag naman, trinomial.
Na pag-4, quad. So, according naman sa kanyang contribution sa evolution nga ng periodic table, inarrange niya by their similarities. Kung ano yung magkapareha. Then, etong magkapareha to, ginrupo niya sa 3. At ang tawag niya doon ay triads. Parang ganito. Igrupo ko si Carillo, si Umaga, si Sham kasi pareha silang nasa SSG. Kunyari. So, meron silang something na common to each other. Then, since meron silang common to each other, and it could be characteristic, then rinupo ito sa 3 at tawag doon ay triads. Okay? And according naman kay Peter Creamers of Cologne. Mabango ata to siya, Cologne. Wala akong makuha picture sa kanya. Sabi naman niya, he suggested that certain elements could belong to two triads placed perpendicularly. So, iba naman sa kanya. So, parang nakalaban niya ang arrangement ni Johan or ni Johan. Kasi sa kanya, two groups it might be. Okay, and replace it perpendicularly. Sa math, ano ang perpendicular? Pagka may pag-uusapan kayo sa geometry, sige nga, turuan nyo nga ako. Ano pag sinabing perpendicular? Hello? O sa geometry?
Permission to speak po, Carillo po, ma'am.
Abilio?
Perpendicular, ano po, ma'am, meron po siyang parang degree po, ma'am, or angle. Ayun, ma'am, angle po.
Ay, sila ba ay magkatapat pagka perpendicular?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, siguro. Ayun. Kaya nag-aral sa math. Okay, very good. Carillo, thank you for that. Okay. Now, another person in the presence of John. Basa daw nito ay John eh. Hindi daw Jean. John Baptist Andre Dumas. Okay. Sa tingin ninyo, ano kayang contribution niya? So, alamin natin. So, ito yung hitsura niya. Then, pakibasa nga po.
Carillo po.
O, Dumlao.
Focused instead of devising a set of mathematical equations that could count for the increase in atomic weight among several groups of chemically similar elements.
Okay, so instead of claiming or using the arrangement from Johan and Peter na triads nga to sa dalawa, he focused instead of devising a set. So devising a set of mathematical equation that could account for the increase in atomic weight among several groups of chemically similar elements. So nag-focus naman siya, siguro he proposed a mathematical equation in terms of the increasing atomic weight. Halimbawa, may elements, then based on the chemical similar elements nila, grinupo niya ito, depende doon out kung ano yung resulta ng kanyang ginawang mathematical equation na mag-i-increase ba ito ng atomic weight. So madami pang mga personalidad na nagtalo-talo paano nabuo talaga itong modern. Kasi iba, hindi nila sinusuportahan kung ano na yung gawa ng iba. So meron silang contrast or something contradict, pero meron naman silang more on similarity sa pag-develop or sa evolution of periodic system. Okay? Bakit laging may ganito? Ano ba to? Okay, now, ito ngayon ang periodic table of elements. So, ang naabutan na lang natin, ito na siya. Tama po ba?
Yes po.
Yes po, ma'am.
So, alam nyo ba kung ano yung naging history bago pa tayo nag-usap? Bago po pa to tinuro sa inyo? Alam niyo ba, meron ba kayong idea noon kung sino pala tong mga persons or physicists, scientists involved during the development and the evolution of the periodic table?
Wala po, ma'am.
So, ngayon, nalaman na natin kung sino yung mga scientists na may malaking contribution during the development and the evolution of the periodic table of elements. Kasi ngayon, yung pinakatapos na lang yung nakita natin. Okay? Now, talking about the modern periodic table, kasi during the time of Mendeleev, hindi pa yun pinaka-modern kasi 63 pa yung known that time. Okay, and it was credited by Julius Mayer. And now, any from the boys? Sino po pwedeng magbasa? Maliban kay Carillo. Magtatawag ako. Gascon. Hindi ko makita yun. Gascon.
Sirada po mic niyo, ma'am.
Okay. Another from the boys. Ma'am, wala po akong mic. Okay. Okay lang po yun. Another from the boys.
Falcon daw po, ma'am.
Okay, Falcon. Yes?
Yes po.
Falcon. Pakibasa.
Yes po.
Go, pakibasa Falcon.
Sa akong part po, ma'am.
The modern periodic table.
Chemist Julius Lothar Mayer produced a periodic table that turned out to be remarkably similar to Mendelev's famous 1869 version. Although Lothar Mayer failed to classify all the elements correctly, but the table did not appear to print out until 1870. Because of publisher's delay, a factor that contributed an acrimonious dispute for priority that ensued between Lothar Mayer and Mendeleev.
Okay, very good. So according naman kay Mayer, so dito na lumalabas yung pag-publish ng book. So may lumabas na kasama sa isang chemistry book na mapapaloob or naka-enclose dito ang periodic table of elements. Okay? So prior pa din sa ginawa ni Mendeleev na version during the year of 1869. But he failed to classify all the elements correctly. But the table did not appear in print until 1870 because of a publisher delay. So, meron siyang failure that time na hindi niya na-classify yung mga nakilala na ng mga elements. So, he failed to classify them correctly. So, one factor that contribute to an acrimonious dispute for the priority that ensured between Mayer and Mendeleev. Okay, so now we have again continuation for the modern periodic table. Okay, so during the time of John William Strutt or Strutt, ayan, he discovered in London the element argon. Okay, familiar with the element na argon?
Hindi po.
Argon, ang symbol niya ay AR. Ano ang argon? Metal, non-metal, or metalloids? Meaning, during the time of Mayer, hindi pa na-discover ang argon. So, kulang-kulang pa din yung periodic table of elements. Then, the arrival of the time ni John William Strutt, he discovered argon. Ayan siya. Yung itsura niya. So, over the next few years, Ramsay announced the identification of 4 other elements. So Ramsey discovered other 4 elements. So alam niyo class, once na makapag-discover kayo na makakontribute sa science, plants, animals, or elements pa yan, magiging known kayo yan. Meron kayong mga prizes niya at siguro bibigyan pa kayo ng award na pera. So, kung gusto niyo maging scientist, gusto niyo maging part ng evolution of the predictable elements, baka gusto niyo dagdagan ng 119, 120, ayun, it's your time para baka malay ninyo makadiscover kayo ng mga other elements. Halimbawa, si Carillo makadiscover. O since si Carillo may nakadiscover, pwede niyang ano dun sa pangalan niya, career role niyan, o maganong mga, or kung taga saan siya, or kung saan niya ito discover. Halimbawa, sa salamat na discover yung element din. Pwede ipangalan sa yung isang lawag. Ayun. So, ganun ang basis ngayon pagka ikaw ay nakadiscover, even plants, animals, sa'yo talaga mismo nagsimula. Merong prizes for that. And Ramsey, he discovered helium, neon, krypton, and xenon, at sila po ay yung mga noble gases. Kung titignan nyo dito sa may right side ng periodic table of elements, nandito si mga noble gases. Wait lang, hinahanap ko yung noble gases. Periodic table natin. Asan na ba yun? Or nawala? Ayun, eto. Lahat yan, helium down to OG, sila po ay noble gases. Mga noble gases po yan ha. Ibig sabihin, kung titingnan mo sa valence electrons nila, 8 po lahat yan. Ang valence 8 kumpleto sa valence electron. Hindi na nila kailangan mag-gain or mag-loss kasi mga neutral yan sila, etong mga noble gases. Okay? Then, during the time of Friedrich Ernest Dorn, he discovered the noble gases radon. So, he was a German physicist. So, ang kung na-discover ni Strauss ay argon, kay Ramsey naman itong 4 na noble gases, then Dorn discovered radon. So, kumpleto na po yung noble gases na makikita nyo right side simula kay helium. Sila po ay mga neutral. Okay? Pagdating po sa valence electrons. Now, so may papakita ko na video about the arrangement of the periodic table of elements. Diba? Kung titingnan nyo, susuriin nyo talaga yung periodic table of elements, naka-arrange talaga siya by increasing atomic number. Tama po ba?
Opo, ma'am.
Okay, so eto na ngayon. May papakita lang akong video.
All matter is built from 118 essential building blocks known as the elements, and throughout history, many people were set on a path of elemental discovery, while others attempted to create useful ways of organizing them. But it wasn't until 1869 that legendary Russian scientist Dmitry Mendeleev developed an elegant and very useful method, which would later evolve into one of science's most brilliant icons, the periodic table. The periodic table is a super organized collection containing information about each element placed into rows and columns. There are 18 numbered columns on the table that we call groups. These groups are sometimes referred to as families, and like real families, elements in a specific group share some characteristics. For example, elements in group 18 are called the noble gases. These are a collection of elements that are generally very unreactive, like helium in birthday balloons. Next door in group 17, aka the halogens, we find reactive elements that may bond with metals like sodium and potassium to make salts. But what is it that makes different elements share chemistry? It's all about the outermost electrons or the valence electrons. Electrons within atoms are arranged in sets around the nucleus. The set of electrons that is furthest away from the nucleus is the one that interacts with the outermost sets of other atoms, and therefore mostly determines what kinds of chemical reaction that an element does or doesn't do. The periodic table groups elements into columns whose atoms have similar valence electron configurations and therefore similar chemistry. In the case of the halogens in column 17, each of the elements has 7 valence electrons. The noble gases in column 18 all have 8 valence electrons. Now let's take a look at the rows. Each row is called a period, and like the groups, each row is given a number, this time 1 through 7. Within each period, the valence electron configurations of the elements change from element to element since there are more electrons. As a result, we see the chemistry of the elements changing as well. Remember, a different number of valence electrons means a different chemical reactivity. For example, as we move across the second period, the strength with which an element's nucleus pulls on the element's electrons around it increases. Nuclei of elements on the left side of the table pull relatively weakly, so they are more likely to lose electrons in a chemical reaction. Nuclei of an element on the right pull much more strongly, so they are more likely to gain electrons in a chemical reaction. Periodic or repeating patterns of physical and chemical properties are crucial to the organization of the table. These patterns even allowed scientists in the past to predict the properties of as of yet undiscovered elements just by looking at gaps in the table. For example, let's take a look at Mendeleev's original 1869 periodic table. See this hole right here to the right of aluminum? Mendeleev predicted that an element that was similar to aluminum existed, but had not yet been discovered. He called it Eka aluminum. When gallium was discovered a few years later, Mendeleev's predictions about the element's properties proved to be remarkably accurate. In short, the periodic table is more than just a table. It's one of the most useful tools in a chemist's repertoire. It is a masterpiece of data visualization, and its incredible design clearly shows the groups and trends among 118 different elements. Rest assured, its brilliant architecture already has a home prepared for each element that remains as of yet undiscovered. Thanks for watching, and make sure to check out the other videos in this series here.
Okay, so after you watch the video, what is your takeaways from the video? Ano yung mga takeaways ninyo from the video? Yes, Verzon.
Using the said methods, na-predict po nila yung mga susunod pang elements kahit na hindi pa nila yun na-discover.
Okay, very good. Thank you. So, ang galing, no? Meron na silang iniwan na space kasi malakas yung pakiramdam nila na may elements na babagay dito kaya nag-leave sila ng space. Okay, what else? Another takeaways out from the video. Di ko nakikita yung nag-raise ng hand. Pwede pakibanggit na lang ng pangalan.
Padasay.
Really po.
Say.
Masasabi po yung periodic table is a masterpiece po kasi ang dami pong process na kailangang magamit tapos madami po siyang pinagdaanan po at kailangan po talagang pag-aralan yun para ma-appreciate po talaga yun kasi po like ang dami pong nag-hard work po ng mga scientists na para magawa po yun. Kaya, masterpiece po yung periodic table.
So, parang na-amaze si Padasay. Thank you for that, Padasay, na masterpiece talaga ang periodic table. Pero imagine that, na kung madali na lang kasi to kopyahin pero kung babalikan mo talaga, grabe yung pinagdaanan niya. Lalo na sa arrangement, utakan talaga. Yung matutuyo talaga ang utak, kailangan talaga is malakas yung prediction mo kung ano yung ipe-place mo na elements. Kasi hindi lang basta-basta maglagay lang dyan. Depende pa yun sa similarity nila. Depende yun sa characteristic nila. Kung metal ba, non-metal or metalloids. Kung ito ba ay noble gases. Depende pa yan. Depende pa sa valence electrons. kung maglo-loss ba to or mag-gain. Di ba nakita nyo kanina sa video, si Na at si chlorine, ang nag-loss para maging neutral, para maging balance, si chlorine ay nag-loss ng 2 electron si sodium. So, isa pa yun sa kanilang mga basis, paano nila na-arrange ang periodic table of elements. Hindi lang basta sa pangalan na alphabetical, hindi. Depende doon sa kanilang mga characteristic at hindi lang basta characteristic, may mga malaliman pa. Okay? So, ano pa? Last one.
Karilyo po, ma'am.
Yes, Carillo.
Yun nga po, base nga po, sabi nga po ni Miss Padasan na we need to bigyan pansin yung periodic table kasi akalain nyo po yun. Bago mabuo itong 118 elements, madaming pinagdaanan na scientists po ito. At each of scientists have a different method to find a new elements po. Yan po, ma'am.
Yes, very good. Kaya kung nandito lang sila, deserve talaga nila palakpakan. Okay? Now, let's proceed to reactive and non-reactive metal. Okay, ipasok ko na lang din tong ganitong topic kasi magkasama naman sila. I hope meron kayong nakuha at nakita ko naman na appreciate nyo talaga yung development and evolution ng periodic table. Okay, moving on to reactive and non-reactive metal. Kung nakita nyo sa video kanina, may nag-loss, which is si sodium. Kasi may mga pagkakataon na ang isang element pwedeng mag-react to other element to create another substance. If you still remember, sinabi ko sa inyo na 2 or more elements combine together and they will form compound. Tama? Halimbawa, 2 hydrogen at 1 oxygen, they will form what substance? Dalawang hydrogen, 1 oxygen. H2O, what substance ang ma-form in the combination of hydrogen and oxygen? We have
Carbon po, ma'am.
H2O, hydrogen and oxygen, combination of hydrogen oxygen, and they will form compound. And what is the name of that compound?
Water po.
Water po.
And we have water. So, binibili dyan sa labas. Okay, so, kaya may mga reaction na nangyayari. Kasi out from 2 or more elements, they will react to each other. Paano sila magre-react? Parehas sila ng characteristic. Kaya sila nagkakagustuhan, kaya sila nagkakasundo because they have a common characteristic and they form a compound. So, elements daw that reactive bond easily with other elements to make compounds. So, tama ang sinabi natin. But some elements are only found in nature bonded with other elements. Meaning, may mga element na talaga na yung nature nila, yung ugali nila ay pang-bond na talaga to another element. Bonding. Yung sa literal, magbaband tayo. Ganon, di ba? So, what makes an element reactive daw? Ayan. Kung nakita nyo ulit sa video, meron dong incomplete na valence electron level si Na. Nakita ang Na kanina, tapos ang 2 electron ni Na, binigay niya kay Cl. Kaya si Cl ay naging neutral, naging balance. That is the time na masasabi mo na ang element na to ay reactive kasi meron siyang incomplete valence electron. Halimbawa, sa pangatlong shell niya is 2 lang. Meaning, incomplete yon kasi sa pangatlo, dapat 16. So, since 16 sa pangatlo ang nire-require, yung 2 na na-occupy niya, ibibigay niya na lang dun sa kabila. Kaya, nagiging reactive yung element. Okay? So, lahat ng atoms, maliban kay hydrogen, want to have 8 electrons in their very outermost energy level. Pag sinabing outermost energy level, class, ito po yung binanggit ko sa inyo last meeting. Ito po yung valence electron. Did you still remember?
Yes,
Yes po.
Yan, di ba meron doon na negative, positive, neutral, depende sa kanyang valence electron, naalala?
Opo, ma'am.
Okay, at ang tawag po doon ay octet rule. Na-remember si octet rule?
Opo.
Okay, ayan. So, ang iba naka-remember, ang iba nakalimutan na nagka-amnesia. Last week lang yon si octet rule. Okay, atoms bond until this level is complete. Okay? So, atoms with valence electrons, which is few, meaning konti lang, sila po yung mga atom na mag-loss, magbigay. Okay? Atoms with 6, 7, or 8, sila naman yung mga elements na manghihingi or kukuha or magigain. Kasi ang kanilang valence electron ay 6, 7, or 8 na hindi na alanganin. Kaya para maging balanse sila, kukuha na lang sila dun sa mga atoms na kakaunti yung valence electron. At nangyayari yan during bonding. Now, the noble gases are the least reactive of all known elements. So, ano sila? Nang hindi sila mailap sila, hindi sila basta-basta maliligawan na magkaroon ng bonding. Meron tong sariling mundo ang mga noble gases. That's because, di ba sabi ko kanina, etong grupo na to, sila po yung mga balance, mga neutral, dahil kompleto na po yung valence electron nila. 8 valence electron po. So, yun po yung dahil kung bakit hindi sila pwedeng basta mag-react lang to other elements. Their outer energy levels are full. Okay, remember that term. Ang energy level nila, which is the valence electron, ay full. The only exception is helium. So, down to neon to OG, so sila po yung mga puno na ang kanilang outer shell. Okay? And metal, ayan, period reactivity decreases. So, nag-decrease ang reactivity kapag metal simula from left to right. Then, ang mga group naman na reactive increases as you go down. So, baliktad lang to si metals tsaka si non-metals kung babasahin nyo. Okay, in non-metals, ang period reactivity increases as you go to the left to the right. Ma'am, ano po ba ito sinasabing period? Period na yan. O nakita nyo kanina sa arrangement. Diba? Meron dong 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pababa. Nakita? Meron doon. Hala, hindi na nila na ano. Hindi na maalala. Bakit? May kausap pa ba ako?
Hello po, ma'am. Ano po ulit yun, ma'am? Sorry po.
Ayan. Nakita niyo ba sa video kanina na sinabi niya, meron ditong 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Opo.
So, yun po ay period. Ayan o, simula hydrogen, 1, 2, 3, na nagalaw na. Natulog ata kayo during the video. Ayan. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Simula hydrogen down to francium, sila po ay yung period. Period po ang tawag doon sa kanila. Huwag mong isali tong part na to, si lanthanide tsaka si actinide. Ito ay period po yan. Period 1, period 2, 3, 4, pahiga, 5 hanggang sa 7 pahiga. Ang tawag dyan, period. Ibig sabihin, meron tayong 7 period mula sa hydrogen down to francium. May binanggit din kanina, may group. Ang group naman, pababa. Kung pahiga ang period, pababa naman ang group 1, group 1, group 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Or mapupunta na tayo sa group 8A. So, ilan ang group? Meron tayong 8. So, kung hindi mo bibilangin na may A tsaka B, ayan o, 2A, tapos may 3B. So, kung hindi mo yan, hindi mo i-consider yung 2A, 2B na yan, meron tayong 18 groups. Okay? Na-gets?
Yes po, ma'am.
Opo, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
I hope na na-gets kasi parang nagwawala na ako dito para mag-gets lang. Okay? So, ngayon, dito tayo sa reactivity. Ayan ha. So, sa reactivity series of metal and non-metals, ayan, meron yang chemical activity na tinatawag displacement reaction. Ibig sabihin, may na-displace na metal to another metal. Ayan. Kaya, nagiging reactive. Ano yon? Pagdating sa kanyang valence reaction, valence electrons, sorry. So, metal reactivity, ibig sabihin, it is a list in which metals are arranged in the decreasing order. So, sa madaling sabi, ang kanilang chemical activity ay na-arrange ang mga metal, grupo ng metal, according sa kanilang decreasing chemical activity. Okay? Meaning, during the displacement reaction, a metal higher up in reactivity series displaces to other metals in a compound. For example, zinc. Ang zinc daw, being more reactive than copper, replaces it from copper sulfate in a solution state to form zinc sulfate and a free copper. Okay? Ganun siya. Ayan. Ilakihan ko na lang siya. Ito yung reactivity series of metal. Ayan. Kung titingnan mo, ang etong antimony down to platinum, sila po yung mga least reactive. Yung mga dilawan na yan, yung mga dilawan dyan, sila po yung mga elements na moderate reactive to other elements. Etong mga pulahan, ayan, mapulahan cesium down to calcium, sila po yung mga elements na highly reactive to other elements just to form compound. Alright? Okay, paki-screenshot lang para meron kayong reference. Okay, kasi meron pa kayong mga ano dyan, ito may mga naka-notes pa. Paki-screenshot. Okay, bakit ko inaano? Okay, next, we have non-metal. Di ba kanina we talk about metal reactivity? Sa madaling sabi, depende ito sa kaniyang order. Pero decreasing order of chemical activity pagdating naman sa mga metals. Okay, pagdating naman sa non-metals class, in which non-metals arrange naman in decreasing order reactivity. During the displacement reaction, more active non-metal displaces a least active class. Iba si metal, iba si non-metal. Ang mga non-metal, ito po yung hindi mo nahahawakan. Sila po yung mga hindi tangible. Like oxygen, hydrogen. Sila po ay mga non-metal. At naka-arrange po sa depende sa kanilang decreasing order of reactivity. Ang metal naman class, ito po yung mga copper, gold. Ibig sabihin, nahawakan, mabigat. Ayan. Alam na paano mo ma-identify ang metal?
Yes po, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes.
So, the displacement reaction, ang more active non-metal displaces a less active non-metal, form a compound. Okay? So, the activity of non-metal depends upon its capability to gain electrons in the solution state to form positive ion. Ayan. So, ano yung mga ion natin? Ano yung dalawang ion natin? Last
Ano po,
meeting.
ma'am?
Dumlaw.
Cation
Pare-
po, tas anion.
Okay. Cation and anion, yun po yung dalawang ions natin. So, the more readily non-metals gain electrons, the more active it is. So, yung mga na-gain na electrons na non-metals, sila po yung mga higher ang reactivity at more active. Okay? So, yun po yung, ito po yung arrangement nila, metallic characteristic. So, pababa, increasing character, increasing, oh my God. Yes. Excited siya. Overtime daw kasi ako. Ayan. So, from here, increasing down. Ayan. So, kung mapapansin mo, from here to down to here, increasing metallic character po yan. Tapos, dito naman class, down dito sa pinaka-bottom, pataas naman, decreasing metallic character naman. Again, from here down to here, increasing metallic character. From here hanggang dito, from here down to up, decreasing ang metallic character. So, ano lang siya, contrast lang. From upper to up to down, increasing, then down to up, decreasing. Na-gets?
Yes po, ma'am.
Okay, ganun na siya. Ayun. May papakita lang akong video bago presentation. Ano lang naman to? Saglit lang to. Ayan. Okay, everybody.
You may have noticed that most of the elements in the periodic table are metals. All metals have similar physical and chemical properties, but not identical.
Ang metallites,
By
yung
looking at
mga
a small
color
number of metals,
green.
we can investigate
Boron,
how they vary
silicon,
chemically.
arsenic,
We will look at
beryllium.
zinc, copper, potassium,
Lahat
calcium,
ng red ay metals,
iron,
lahat ng blue ay
lithium,
non-metals.
magnesium, and sodium. First, let's look at the results when a small amount of each is dropped into cold water in a test tube. Stop the video to study the results, and then try to rank the metals from most to least chemically reactive. How did you do? From the results, some can be ranked, but others appeared to be the same. Let's rewrite the list. If the experiment is repeated with dilute hydrochloric acid, we can reveal the different chemical reactivity of the metals that have not yet been ranked. And now, rewrite the list again. From these two experiments, we can rank all 8 metals in order of chemical reactivity. This is of course a selective list, or else we would need to include over 70 metals. This gives us the reactivity series of metals, many versions of which you will find in books and online.
Least reactive platinum.
You may already have known that lithium, sodium, and potassium were at the top of the list, since we store these metals in oil to stop reaction with moisture in the air. When potassium reacts with hydrochloric acids, we get potassium readily loses an electron to form the K-positive ion, whereas when zinc reacts, Zn will form its ion Zn2 positive, but less readily than potassium does. So the series of reactivity is also a list which shows the tendency for metals to produce their positive ions. Don't panic. You don't have to remember this list. You should, however, be able to rank metals if given results of an experiment, and then be able to use the list to answer further questions, such as in explaining displacement reactions.
If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. And
Okay.
don't forget to subscribe.
Ayan.
Comment below
Yes.
if you have any questions. Why not check
Nakita
out
niyo
our
naman
Q-School app
yung
as well?
video. Tama. Tama? Nakita ang video.
Yes po, ma'am.
Okay, so ang kailangan nyo lang dun malaman kung nag-screenshot kayo, kung ano po yung mga listahan ng most reactive down to least reactive. Example dun, kung napansin nyo ang potassium, siya talaga yung number 1 na reactive. Na kapag mag-react siya, si potassium, ipagsama mo, i-combine mo sa mga acid na bagay, ang mangyayari ay explosion. So, doon lang naman ang tatandaan ninyo yung ano nila, yung ability nila to react or kung reactive ba sila or least reactive. Para aware tayo doon kung halimbawa later on maging chemical engineer kayo or gano'n. Pero yung may nakita kayong may mga plus, may addition, huwag yun na isipin yun kasi malalaman nyo na during grade 10. Yun na may tinatawag ay balancing. Alright? So, any question before we go through to our sa ating
Wala naman po, ma'am.
wala naman po. Okay? So, your learning task number 1, ipopost ka to sa Google Classroom. Ayun siya. Parang ano siya no, ng sa laro dyan sa Showtime, kaya may personality, para makabuo kayo. Ito yung clue. Ayan yung clue. First name, John, parang sasagutan ko na siya. Alam yung ganito, parang sagutan.
Yes
po.
po.
Kung kayo magbe-base sa mga picture na yan. That will be your learning task number 1 na ipopost ko later sa Google Classroom. Now, proceed tayo sa task number 2. Okay, we have learning task number 2. Handa na ba ang mag-present?
Yes
Yes
po.
po, ma'am.
So, group of shams. Pwede na ba? Mag-stop sharing ako para kayo yung mag-share.
Opo, ma'am.
Okay, so kahit mga 5 to 8 minutes lang, shams. Basahin mo na lang, Be, kahit wag mo na i-explain. Sinong reporter?
Wala po, ma'am, dito, ma'am, yung makagrupo ko po.
Ikaw lang?
Opo.
Sinong gumawa?
Ako po, ma'am. Tapos nagbigay lang po sila ng mga idea po sa akin.
Nagbigay sila ng idea. Okay na? Kaya mo ba? Basahin mo na lang siya.
Okay po, ma'am.
Go.
The Russian scientist Dmitry Mendelev's discovery of the theory of atoms came to him in a dream. 150 years ago, he hadn't slept for 3 days worrying how to classify the elements, and it came out of the blue sky wonderland of his dreams. Mendeleev was a professor of chemistry at St. Petersburg in 1869. He made cards of the 63 known elements and played with them until he had worked out what we know as the present-day structure. 8 of then unknown elements were predicted, 8 of which he successfully predicted. In 1789, French chemist Antoine Lavoisier tried to group the elements into groups based on their chemical and physical properties. 40 years later, chemist Johann de Bruynere observed similarities between elements' chemical and physical properties. And after publishing a revised list of the elements in 1860, chemists from Germany came up with a new atomic weight scale. The scale would determine the atomic weight of various elements such as hydrogen. John Euler was the first to arrange the elements into a periodic table. He found that every 8 elements had similar properties and called this the law of octaves. As an additional information, in 1669, German merchant and amateur alchemist Henning Brandt attempted to create a philosopher's stone. He heated residues from boiled urine and a liquid dropped out and burst into flames. This was the first discovery of phosphorus, which is known as phosphorus. Nowadays, the periodic table provides information about the atomic structure of the elements. Scientists use the table to study chemicals and design experiments. It is used to develop chemical used in the pharmaceutical and cosmetics industries and batteries used in technological devices. Thank you po, ma'am.
Okay, very good, Shams. O virtual clap naman para kay Shams. Yun. So,
Yay!
thank you, Group 1. Ibibigay ko na lang ang score ninyo. I-send ko na lang ang rubric sa GC. Okay? So now, let's proceed to Group 2. Ano ba ang Group 2?
Kanta po.
Ang Group 2 ay... Ano ba Group 2?
Yes po, ma'am.
Carillo.
Ano po, ma'am? Wait lang po. Isa lang po namin yung Google Drive po sa'yo, ma'am.
Ako na mag-screen sharing.
Opo, ma'am. Di po ata pwede mag-share screen, share screen po kami, ma'am.
Okay. Send lang dito
Wait lang po.
sa GC natin.
Sige po, ma'am. Yay!
Alright.
Galing.
Cheese to Jog!
Sana all. Galing.
Oo, parang meron tayong singer, yung Chinita.
Si ano po ma'am? Si Sachi po.
Si Quazo.
Tapos po si Trisha ma'am. Singer po yun ma'am.
Singer, sakto pala yung mga talented na punta sa group 2. Ano po? Okay, so
Yan po ma'am.
palakpakan niyo naman ang mga sarili ninyo.
Yay! Ang pogi ko guys! Woo!
Okay, very good. Sobra akong natuwa sa ginawa ninyo. Ayan, group 1 and group 2. Very good kayo dyan. Parang kulang pa ang very good. Okay, next proceed tayo sa group 3. Ayan, group 3 na tayo. Okay, kanina ba tayo?
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. This is Group 3's assigned work, a digital drawing from Canva, a periodic table of elements. Thank you.
Okay, very good. Group 3. Drawing kasi sa kanila. Okay, virtual clap para sa group 3.
Laka! Ew!
Okay, next, we have group 4, broadcasting. Send na lang din sa GC. Ako na mag-print, mag-share. Andito ba ang grupo ng broadcasting?
Opo, ma'am. Nandito po.
Sige na, pakisend sa GC. Hintayin ko.
Send
Good afternoon. You're watching a boy from Sulawag National High School won a championship medal at a science competition. He won for reciting the periodic table of elements using his own intellectual intelligence and mastery. He had been trained by Miss Cabarte. It took almost a week to master the sequence of the periodic table and recite it clearly. According to him, memorizing the whole periodic table was hard compared to multiplication table. But he did everything he could for his school because he's the one representing in the national competition. In talking about periodic table, the usual think that it's hard. But what exactly is periodic table? Periodic table is a table of chemical elements, and it is arranged by its atomic number. Each element has different meaning. For example, neon or Ne with atomic number 10. It is a noble gas, and its purpose is to give light to the signs to make it brighter. Periodic table consists of 180 elements. Each element has its own meaning and an atomic number and not April 7, 2022, Thursday. Good afternoon. You're watching
Bago po kami magpakita po ng video, meron po kaming maiksing intro.
Sige, go na.
Good afternoon, classmates and ma'am. This is Group 5's Bingo game card. We played the game according to the original way of playing it, which is 5 in a row. The numbers said by the host are the atomic number of an
Okay na po, ma'am. Pwede na po i-play yung.
Okay, ayan. I-share ko lang yung gawa nila. Ito na ba yung gawa nila? Naglalaro. Ulitin ko ha.
Ngayong hapon, maglalaro tayo ng bingo. Ang goal ng laro ay para manalo ng 5 in a row. Horizontally, vertically, or diagonally. Pero, hindi sa numbers lang, gagamit tayo ng atomic number ng kahit anong elemento. Halimbawa, sa letrang B, at atomic number 15. Intindihan? Yes. Laro. Seven. Sa letrang I muli, 45. Sa letrang N, 54. Sa letrang O, 117. Simuli, 15. Ano to? Test namin. Gamit yung mga periodic table ng atomic numbers. Copy, 21. Letrang B muli, 11. Letrang G, 75. Sa letrang B muli, 12. Letrang N, 15. Letrang O, 29. Letrang O muli, 190. Letrang G, 4. Lapos ang nagmamalikan. Letrang I, 43. Letrang I muli, 30. Letrang G, 77. Sa letrang I, may atomic number na 33. Letrang I muli. May atomic number na 26.
Ingay pa.
Letrang C, 19.
Tagal. Ang tagal mo ba?
Sa letrang I muli, 29. Sa letrang L, 130. Ano pa? Everyone, ngayong hapon, maglalaro tayo ng bingo. Ang bingo ay para
Okay. Very good.
manalo ng 5 in a row. Horizontally, vertically, or diagonally. Pero, imbis na numbers lang, gagamit tayo ng atomic numbers ng kahit anong elemento. Halimbawa, sa letrang B, atomic number
Ayun. Group of Verzon, Padasay. Ayun, nakita nyo naman. So, ang ginawa nila ay bingo card game. Pero hindi yung literal na nakikita natin sa labas sa pasugalan. Kasi ang ginawa nila, using the atomic number. Okay? Sino yung bumingo, Verzon?
Si Conchi po, ma'am.
Conche. Ano yun sa pahiga dito sa My Free?
Opo, ma'am.
Okay, ganun. So, very good. Palakpakan niyo naman ang inyong mga...
Yay! Bingo!
Nag-enjoy ba kayo sa ginawa niyong laro?
Yes
Opo,
po.
Opo, ma'am.
Hindi ko kayo tinuturuan magsugal, ha?
Hindi po.
Oo na po, ma'am.
Para ano siya, para entertaining. Okay? Next, proceed tayo sa group 6. Meron pa tayong group 6. Ang group 6 ay ayan, sila Amper. I-send nyo na lang ang Google Drive link.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
So for today, Group 6 consisting of grade 8 Aquamarine students, they are Shiana Cherish Orlanda, Kyron Roger Amper, Ash Helon Sartorio, Kian Correa, Alexandra Dejos. We'll play a game about the metal and non-metal reactivity series made by Mr. Kyron Amper. I hope you all have joined the game link that I chatted earlier in the comment box. So let's start. Naka-join na ba ang lahat?
Hindi pa ako.
Okay.
Hindi
Isasend ko na lang yung link din. Okay na? Ilalagay nyo lang yung mga kung ano ba tong HG or ano. Halimbawa kung itong HG, hydrogen ba yan or ewan. Ilalagay nyo lang dyan.
Is everyone done answering the question?
Done na po.
Hindi pa.
Done na po.
Done na. Done na po.
If done na po, i-submit na po para maano na sa leaderboard. Okay, tapos na bang lahat?
Opo, done na.
Since nakapagsagot na kayo, ano sa tingin niyo yung sagot dito? Yung H, ano siya?
Hydrogen.
Hydrogen.
Yung SN,
10 po.
tin. Yung AU,
Gold.
what is the most reactive non-metal? Oh, itong S.
Sulfur.
Sulfur.
Sulfur po.
Fluorine yung sa what is the most reactive non-metal? Okay. Yung SI,
Silicon.
Silicon.
FE. Ano sa tingin niyo ang FE?
Iron po daw.
Iron. How many non-metals are there?
89.
89. Yung K,
Potassium.
yung CO,
Cobalt.
Cobalt.
wait, ano po ba yan? Cobalt nga, tama. Cobalt? Ito lang. Mali ata yung nalagay. How many metals are there?
22.
Hg. Mercury yan. Mercury. Ano yung Na?
Sodium.
Sodium. Yung Sb.
Antimony.
Yung Ag.
Silver.
Silver.
Silver. Yung Cu.
Copper.
Copper.
Copper. What is the least reactive metal?
Platinum.
Platinum. Yung W.
Tungsten.
Rf.
Rutherfordium.
And the last one is Fn.
Rutherfordium.
Yan yung tamang sagot. Since merong ibang hindi nakasagot, at merong ibang namang sumagot na lang dito sa chat sa Zoom, hindi accurate yung leaderboard natin. Pero ang mahalaga, nakapagsagot at naka-enjoy tayo. Alexandra, may sasabihin ka ba?
Congrats everyone. I hope you all enjoyed this game. If you have questions and clarifications about this topic, you can send a message to our group chat. And again, good morning and have a nice day, everyone. You may leave this meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you po.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Group 6. Ayan, very good. So, this will be the end of our topic. Then, I'm going to post your learning task number 1 and learning task number 3 ngayon sa Google Classroom. Then, thank you for listening and thank you for your cooperation. Very good po kayong lahat sa ginawa ninyong group activity. God bless and goodbye everyone.